boy, said Peter. This would upset Mother even more than the lion. Quick, said Judy, back to the game. Peter took his turn. Thanks heavens he landed on a blank space. He rolled again. Moonstone season began. Lose one turn. Little raindrops began to fall in the living room. Then a roll of thunder shook the walls and scared the monkeys out of the kitchen. The rain began to fall in buckets as Judy took the dice. Guy gets lost, lose one turn. The rain suddenly stopped. The children turned to see a man hunched over a map. Oh dear, I say. Spot of bad luck now, he mumbled. Perhaps a left turn here, then... No, a right turn here. Yes, absolutely. I think a right turn. Or maybe... Excuse me, said Judy, but the guy just ignored her. Around here, then over there. No, over here and around this. Yes, good. But then, Judy shrugged her shoulders and handed the dice to Peter. 4, 6, 7, he counted. Bitten by testy fly, contract sleeping sickness, lose one turn. Judy heard a faint buzzing noise and watched a small insect land on Peter's nose. Peter lifted his hand to brush the bug away, but then stopped, gave a tremendous yawn, and fell sound asleep, his head on the table. Peter, wake up, cried Judy, but it was no use. She grabbed the dice and moved to a blank. She rolled again and waited in amazement. Rhinoceros stampede, go back 2 spaces. As fast as he had fallen asleep, Peter awoke. Together they listened to a rumble in the hallway. It grew louder and louder. Suddenly a herd of rhinos charged through the living room and into the dining room, crushing all the furniture in their path. Peter and Judy covered their ears as sounds of the splintering wood and breaking china filled the kitchen. Peter gave the dice a quick tumble. Python sneaks into camp, go back 1 space. Judy shrieked and jumped up on her chair. Over the fireplace, said Peter. Judy sat again, nervously eyeing the 8-foot snake that was wrapping itself around the mantel clock. The guy looked up from his map, took one look at the snake, and moved to the far corner of the room, joining the monkeys on the couch. Judy took her turn and landed on a blank space. Her brother took the dice and rolled a 3. Oh no, he moaned. Volcano erupts, go back 3 spaces. The room became warm and started to shake a little. Molten lava poured from the fireplace opening. It hit the water on the floor and the room filled with steam. Judy rolled the dice and moved ahead. Discover shortcut, roll again. Oh dear, she cried. Judy saw the snake unwrapping itself from the clock. If you roll a 12, you can get out of the jungle, said Peter. Please, Judy begged as she took the dice. The snake was wriggling his way to the floor. She dropped the dice from her hand. 1, 6, then another. Judy grabbed her piece and slammed it to the board. Jumanji, she yelled as loud as she could. The steam in the room became thicker and thicker. Judy could not even see Peter across the table. Then, as if all the doors and windows had been opened, a cool breeze cleared the steam from the room. Everything was just as it had been before the game. No monkeys, no guide, no water, no broken furniture, no snake, no lion roaring upstairs, no rhinos. Without saying a word to each other, Peter and Judy threw the game into its box. They bolted out the door, ran across the street to the park, and dropped the game under a tree. Back home, they quickly put all their toys away, but both children were still too excited to sit quietly. So Peter took out a picture puzzle. As they fit the pieces together, their excitement slowly turned to relief, and then exhaustion. With the puzzle half done, Peter and Judy fell asleep on the sofa. Wake up, dears, Mother's voice called. Judy opened her eyes. Mother and Father had returned and their guests were arriving. Judy gave Peter a nudge to wake him up. Yawning and stretching, they got to their feet. Mother introduced them to some of the guests, then asked, Did you have an exciting afternoon? Oh, yes, said Peter. We had a flood, a stampede, a volcano. I got sleeping sickness, and Peter was interrupted by the adults' laughter. Well, said Mother, I think you both got sleeping sickness. Why don't you go upstairs and put your pajamas on? Then you can finish your puzzle and have some dinner. When Peter and Judy came downstairs, they found their father had moved the puzzle into the den. While the children were working on it, one of the guests, Miss Budwing, brought them a tray of food. Such a hard puzzle, she said to the children. Daniel and Walter are always starting puzzles and never finishing them. Daniel and Walter were Miss Budwing's sons. They never read instructions either. Oh, well, said Miss Budwing, turning to rejoin the guests, I guess they'll learn. Both children answered, I hope so. But they weren't looking at Miss Budwing. They were looking out the window. 2 boys were running through the park. It was Danny and Walter Budwing, and Danny had a long, thin box under his arm. The end. So now, in order to go with Jumanji, educators can have their students make a lion. They can begin by asking them what was the first animal that the two kids in the story saw, which would be the lion. And so for this activity, you would need a paper plate, scissors, yarn, glue sticks, and strips of yellow and orange paper. You would have the students cut out 2 circles for the eyes on the paper plate, and they would get glue and they would make the strips of paper around. And then you would help them assemble a string on the back to put on their face, and then at the end they would have a lion mask. Well, that goes with Jumanji. And then as they take this lion mask home, they can go over the story with their parents about how they read about Jumanji and what the story was about. And they can tell them what was their favorite part in the story, what they learned from the story, and then you can go over with your students how in Jumanji the students had to read carefully the instructions to understand that things would go right. So this can be an enrichment exercise in the sense that parents can help students understand that it's important to read instructions and follow them carefully. Thank you.